How to cheat old age pensioners. Many people fought for Britain in World War II in the belief they were fighting against a totalitarian government oblivious to the needs and aspirations of the people. They believed the process of war would result in a humane and caring British government. They also paid into a government pension scheme which promised they would receive a fair pension. That was their right. Even if they never fought, they believed their contributions guaranteed them a pension. It's not only war veterans who paid into the government pension scheme, but hard-working people from a variety of backgrounds: nurses, engineers, builders, long-distance lorry drivers, you name the worker, all of them contributed towards the scheme, with the expectation their contributions would result in a hard-earned pension which allowed them to survive in their old age. Those pensioners who live in England, Scotland, Wales and who live in EC countries receive a pension which is updated periodically. They number around 11,550,000 people. For those that live in Australia, Canada, India, Thailand, and many other countries, their pensions are frozen at the level of their first pension cheque. They number about 500,000 persons. Retirees are penalized by lottery rules dependent upon where they live. Why do pensioners live overseas? There are many reasons. For some who suffer from arthritis, they have little choice if they don't wish to live a life of pain, as the British weather aggravates their non-curable condition. For others, their response is, "I never left England. It's always in my heart." However, England has changed so much it no longer has the culture I grew up with. In a sense, England left me. People who live in countries where their pension is frozen are not a burden on the taxpayer in so many ways. They don't use the UK health system, they don't receive heating benefits, public transport concessions, TV license concessions, council tax support or help with urgent or one-off support. They pay most of these benefits themselves, if they need them. So, why make their life even more difficult by freezing their pensions? Why doesn't the government care? The answer to that is, pensioners are barred from voting in any government election if they have been abroad for 15 years, so they lack any remedial avenue via their MP. If you can't vote, what use are you to a candidate standing for election to the UK government? The basic annual salary for an MP from the 1st of April 2019 is £79,468. MPs also receive expenses to cover the costs of running an office, employing staff, having somewhere to live in London or their constituency, and travelling between Parliament and their constituency. The MP's Scheme of Business Costs and Expenses, 8th edition, came into effect on the 1st of April 2016. The main expense budgets provided in IPSA's scheme and the maximum amounts that members can claim in 2016-17 are set out here. There is a link in the description. The pensions for members of Parliament are now set by the Independent Parliamentary Standards Authority (IPSA). The IPSA sets and regulates MPs' salaries, pensions, business costs and expenses. The IPSA is a public body in the United Kingdom created by the Parliamentary Standards Act 2009, largely as a response to the parliamentary expenses scandal of 2009. This scandal resulted in at least 4 parliamentarians being jailed due to successful criminal charges of false accounting, and on 18 October 2010 3 peers were suspended. Voluntary repayments by MPs totaling nearly £500,000 were also made. One wonders whether the pensions for parliamentarians, which is not the state pension, are frozen if they live overseas. snouts in the trough? The excuse why pensions are frozen. As can be seen, the MP's pension is very generous indeed, some may say too generous. However, why don't they recognize the need for other old age pensioners who live overseas, to have at least a pension amount they can live on? The main reason given appears to be that Britain just can't afford to unfreeze the pension that many overseas pensioners have to live on, in a world of rising prices and taxes. Many would find it hard to believe that the UK government cannot adjust the budget to include £500 million to pay frozen pensions. After all, this is only 0.06% of the budget. Other spending alone is more than 250 times the annual frozen pension amount. It is a matter of ethics, not economics. British people have always prided themselves on their sense of fair play. It's one of the distinguishing and cherished features of being British. It is something every British child at school learns to stand them in good stead in their later life. Why then, has the issue of frozen pensions been swept under the carpet and ignored by so many parliamentarians? Is it the fact that to be a parliamentarian requires special qualities in order to represent the people? If so, these qualities must reflect a complete lack of moral probity and an astounding sense of hubris which borders ignorance. It is time for change. If you are reading this, and are eligible to vote in the UK parliamentary elections, then you can help redress an obvious wrong. Contact your MP, and ask him what is the stance he or she will adopt in relation to frozen pensions, should they become elected. Perhaps even send them a link to this video, to reinforce the message. Let's work together to do the right thing.